Hey everybody, it is Gavin Grubbs. I got Scott Shive with me for episode 28 of the B-Main. And our headlines this week are the racing season is officially rolling now with almost everybody got their season underway. Tyler Reddick picks up a win in the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. I'll review my trip to Florida where I got to see the World Series of Asphalt, ASA season opener, and the USAC season opener at Volusia at the Gator Nationals. And Scott, you got a pretty important call with getting the call for Keelan Harvick's first late model stock win at the IceBreaker in Florence.
It was great. We'll get to talk about that all. It's going to be fun. You and I had quite a fun and crazy past 2 weeks. We wanted to do a midweek episode last week, but Gavin was kind of traveling a lot, so we weren't really able to, so we kind of had to condense a lot of the stuff. We talked a lot about in the offseason how, we had content for sure, but we didn't have a ton of content, and we had enough content easily for a weekly episode for the past 2 weeks. So I think this year when we have that, when Gavin and I see that's kind of upcoming, we'll probably add an episode in. We'll probably do a little bit more this season where we're not 100% bi-weekly. We'll have some weeks where we go maybe 3 in a row or even a month where we're going every single Monday. So we'll keep y'all updated, and you'll be watching. Watch the drops every Tuesday morning. We record usually on Monday nights, so keep it up. Gavin, let's kick it off. Let's go short track. Let's start with World Series of Asphalt. I honestly think we should start with some incidents. I think night number 1, Jade Avedisian and Spencer Davis, they get into it a little bit hot and heavy early in the race. A lot of 60-lappers that were happening for the World Series of Asphalt in its 60th year running. But honestly, to me, it looked like Davis just squeezed Avedisian into the wall off turn 4, but they heavily disagreed about it, and quite publicly.
Yeah, she wasn't happy about it at all, and he seemed to initially not really take the blame for it. He said the next night he looked at it, and he was a little bit more, I would say, responsible about what happened, but he still was not sorry or remorseful, and in my opinion, I think it was almost like he didn't know she was even to the outside of him. He just ran his normal corner exit line while she was there and just pancaked her into the wall. And I think that's about all there is to it, really. I don't think it was anything dirty. I think they just messed up.
Yeah, I mean, I think he did too. And in that situation, I think you just got to be like, hey, I screwed up. And even when you got to look back at the replay, even when I'm driving on iRacing or whatever, I don't like to assume what happened before I'm out of the race car because there's so much that you can't see and that you can't know when you're in the seat. And so it's best to hold your tongue, hold your actions until after the moment and go back, look, make sure you have all the information before you do something stupid. So, which a lot of drivers are unable to do. I mean, I get it. The emotions can run high. Gavin and I ran a late model stock earlier in the league I've been running, and I spun myself out on lap 1, drove back up to the field, then my graphics card failed, and I was absolutely livid. But it was no one else's fault on track. But there have been times where people have done stuff to me, and I've wanted to retaliate, and I look back at later, and I'm like, okay, it was just kind of a moment.
Yeah, and that I think they both kind of moved on from that, but if I was either of them, especially on hers, I would not give the other one any extra room for the rest of the year. I would race, not necessarily with a grudge, but a little bit of a chip on my shoulder around the other.
Yeah, well, Spencer Davis, I mean, I don't think he's someone that is going to race you or give you enough extra room anyway. I mean, Davis was out of the car for a lot of last year, and he ran supers this year a good bit with Ben Kennedy. That was the car he was running with, so might have some little extra help from them, but seems like he was taking everything he could with that opportunity. Maybe he knows that appreciative of being able to have that ride after not being able to drive a lot last year. I mean, the biggest thing for him last year was winning the Pro Lates and the Cars Tour Throwback Classic, and that was $30,000 to win. But, I mean, that was one of the only times we saw Spencer Davis. So I don't know when we're going to see him this year, but he knew he had the whole weekend super late models, and he was going to take everything he could with it. So on the flip side of that coin, with the pros, they got off to a rocky start.
It just seemed like all week, especially the first half of the week, that every pro late model race was just a wreck fest.
Well, and I'm not going to blame the track here because you got to learn the track, and it's. But New Smyrna is very special in that the front stretch is diagonal. A line goes away as you exit 4 and come to the entry to 1. So you have to leave a lane for the other, and you're going to cross over a lane as you go down the front stretch. And I think there were a lot of drivers that did not realize that, or in the heat of the moment were not taking it into account, because all the big accidents happen into turn 1, where that closure happens of the wall closer to the corner. And I think it's just drivers not thinking while they're in there in the seat. Maybe some on the inside. It looked like to me, honestly, it was very easy to blame the driver on the inside that they were coming up. But I think actually I saw the 29 of Cole Roby. I saw him come down and kind of get scared of the wall both times. Like he was being mindful of his equipment, but made a quick move to the left and got the car down below him a little uncomfortable, and it kind of unraveled from there. Now, I don't want to immediately take a shot at Cole Roby because there were plenty of times as well I saw other cars coming up. So most likely in all that scenario, it's a racing incident, but you just got to know the characteristics of the track.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't even notice that. And I sat in turn 4 when I was at New Smyrna on Monday or Tuesday night, and I did not notice that the front stretch is diagonal. And I was sitting in turn 4.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that's how subtle it is to these drivers that it's hard to notice.
It is, and it's something that you just have to remember. I mean, yes, there's a pane of lines on the ground, but there's plenty of times where you're just looking around you, and you're not looking out in front of you the entirety of the straightaway. I mean, the straightaway is the place where you really don't have to look out in front of you too much, and so it's an easy place to start thinking about other things, the guy to your outside or the guy behind you, and not really be driving out of the windshield. So I get it, and a lot of the drivers that are in the pros are usually young drivers that are learning, so we'll give them some grace. But, man, money was spent on some Pro Late models this past week at New Smyrna.
Yeah, a lot of money spent.
So
I kind of want to go on tonight, too, and talking about after the NASCAR mod race, which we'll get to here in a minute, Jade bounced back and won. Dominated.
Yep.
Started, I think, 3rd or 4th, got to the front quick, and just drove away.
Well, and what was cool was, when she passed Casey Broderick.
Yeah, great driver.
She passed some good cars, and very quickly.
What? You're talking about good cars. We're going to get to it here a few nights later, all the cars she passed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And, I mean, Broderick was getting his car dialed in, but she shook that stuff off with Davis almost immediately and went out, dominated her race. And I really liked her interview. It was actually the morning of. It was when she was coming into the gate, and she said that she loves this super late model. And I agreed with Adam Mackey and Charlie Crackhill, and that I think this car is way more suited to a style of driving she's used to than the Pro did. Mm-hmm. She's very used to, like what plenty have said, lightweight car, a lot of power. That's what those midgets were that she won the championship in. That's a lot how this super late model drives. I am not crazy surprised to see her have a lot more success in it early than she did in the Pro late. That's why I think she's a driver that you really, really need to look at even more closely this year, because I think she's in something more comfortable. Last year, she learned about a lot of racecraft when it comes to asphalt racing. That car was a little bit slower. She had to be a lot more patient with it. I think it was a perfect stepping stone for her and a great job by Toyota. And to say, hey, we understand this Super might be easier for her. And because she understands that style of car more, just because it's very similar to her midget and how she raced in dirt. But I think it was very smart of them to put her in the slower Pro because she learned asphalt racecraft. Not that she didn't have racecraft already, but again, it's different between dirt and asphalt. So, honestly, W moved by Toyota, and it's paying off because, like you said on Tuesday, She made one mistake on the inside of her teammate, but boy, it's no question if she can pass.
And that's what I want to talk about is watching her absolutely slice her way through the field patiently but aggressively at the same time was just so fun to watch. All the cars she passed, I mean, she outbattled Stephen Nasse, outbattled Caden Honeycutt, outbattled, I'm just trying to think here, who else was in that field that she had passed? Casey Roderick again. I know I'm missing somebody here.
I mean, there are plenty of others.
Great drivers.
Pollard was out, so it wasn't him. But she probably could have done it.
Derek Thorne, Stephen Nasse, Caden Honeycutt. Like, she was passing great drivers. Her teammate, Kyle Steckley, pretty solid super late model driver.
Well, and I'll be honest and upfront. I've made negative comments toward Kyle Steckley because I've watched him in that RJR car, and he was not great in my opinion. And I always thought that it was the driver because I have seen Noah Gragson hop into those cars. I've seen Casey Roderick hop into those cars and perform fairly well. And I think Kyle Steckley is another great example of driver and car or driver and team just not clicking. And a driver making a move and finding a place where he's happy or she's happy and it all coming together. So I'll own up to that one. And if Kyle Steckley sees this, my apologies, man. You proved me wrong, and I hope you proved a lot of other people wrong because he jumped in that Donnie Wilson car and he held his own. He was better than George Phillips. He's had some great performances already with the World Series of Asphalt. I think he was one. He had to go home early. I think probably had work or who knew. He was running mainly the weekend shows, but I'm gonna say that for myself. And props to Kyle Steckley.
Yeah, I just want to talk about how awesome of a track New Smyrna was. It's one of the most fun tracks I've got to watch a race at. It might be my new favorite short track that I've been to.
Yeah, I like it, and I would
awesome.
like to go in person. I definitely would.
It's awesome.
Let's see. I mean, I guess let's talk about the opener for the SA Stars Tour. I think it was 30-something cars that started the race?
I think it was 32, I think.
30
or 32, around 30.
A lot of cars started the race, and Pollard went out early, lap 1. And man, it has been a rough go for Pollard for the past about year or so. Last year just was not a good run for him. Already starting out 2026 tough. So hopefully some momentum could come Pollard's way. Nasse really wasn't a factor.
Not all night. He was just slow.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
He was slow.
Well, and I mean, the biggest story of the night, I think, was Brown just getting out front and staying out front.
Yeah, I mean, he was insanely impressive. And he's kind of one of those drivers I forget about being as good as he is because he's not super flashy when he does good. He's kind of seems like a quiet guy in interviews that I've seen. He doesn't make any insanely crazy moves on track. He's just fast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I talked to him at Florence a week before this, and or I guess days before this, and I met him for the first time. Really nice kid. I mean, really, like seriously, very kind. I honestly, when I met him and talked to him, he really reminded me a lot of Landon S. Huffman and just how appreciative he was of the position he was in and just being thankful and he wanted to develop his racecraft. Like he's running a full car store season this year and just trying something different. And me and my buddy Chase, we asked him, how different is it for you from a driver standpoint to drive the Super and then come in here and drive a late model stock? And he said, these cars he was like night and day. He was like, they are so different in terms of how they drive. And saw him perform at South Carolina 400, and he was top 5 all race long until he got in an incident. And to be able to drive 2 different cars like that really tells you when a guy has racecraft and raw speed. And he definitely does, which leads me, honestly, to the questionable comment that Dawson Sutton made after he finished P2 behind Brown. He mentioned that he was very unhappy with Brown for how dirty he was driving in the the race. And I was very surprised by that because I clearly didn't see that.
No, I can't think of an incident between the two. I'm sitting here trying to think of what would have happened, and I don't know. When I think of incidents or people driving aggressive at that race Tuesday, the only thing I can think of is Carson Hocevar bulldozed his way through the entire field to get a top 5.
Yeah. Well, and honestly,
He was a bulldozer, and not in a bad way, but I mean, seems like every pass he made, he used the bumper every time.
hey, look, if you're going to get it done, know how to do it without wrecking a guy, be my guest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Sutton was more frustrated with finishing P2 than anything.
And there's nothing more frustrating than getting second either. Like, that is the most frustrating position to be in.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, what was it? I think it was P3 at the Snowball Derby, P2 here, P1 at the All-American 400. I mean, he is on a roll. And I would like to see how he does in the Truck Series this season because, in my opinion,
I don't think the Rackley trucks are that good, though.
I don't know, but I mean, I was going to say, not even with the truck, I don't think Sutton was ready last year. I mean, let's not forget, he is still very young, and he was only running Pro Late models at like 3 years ago, and he only started doing super races. He only started doing super races at the end of 2024, and then he jumped into a truck in 25. So I think he was maybe putting that ride a little early. Your deal is another argument, and I haven't looked enough into their performance or just their program itself for their trucks to really judge that truck, but it definitely could be a factor as well. I'm not disagreeing with you there. Well, I guess
I'm just saying that when comparing his results in a super as to the truck, because I feel like being competitive in an ASA Stars race in the national level and being competitive in the Truck Series are pretty similar feats, I would say, for a driver.
Well, and let's not forget Sutton's great runs. Comparison. Oh, no, I agree with you. Sutton's great runs did come really toward the end of the Truck Series for ASA. So,
yeah,
we'll watch out for that this year and how he runs, but I really thought those comments, I mean, maybe he saw something differently than us, but the only thing I can really think of is that maybe Brown moved him up the track, getting by him early. But again, once Brown got past everybody, no one passed him.
No.
So,
and it wasn't close.
No, it wasn't. So he's running.
It's really a 4-car breakaway up front, too.
It was. Well, and let's talk about Jade, because she was in that top 4 at one point, and I think she was fighting for 4th.
She had the second best car there.
Oh, definitely.
She was battling for 4th with Steckley, and
then she got
in turn 1. She got tight, washed up into him, and it looked like she got a little bit too hard on the brake to avoid hitting him. Which, I mean, you don't want to wreck your teammate, because I think she could have, if she wanted to not wreck, she could have bounced off of him. But I think it would have ended or ruined his night, and I think that was a good move to not take out your teammate trying to save your own car.
Definitely. I agree with you.
I also didn't know that you cannot lose a lap under caution in ASA. I did not know that until that race.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I'm going to thank great journalist Matt Weaver for informing me on that. He was talking about the incident on Twitter, and I'm there at the race, so I could just see the top 5 on the pylon. I didn't know what was going on. And Adam said, "Hey, how many laps did she lose there?" And she said, "You can't go laps down. You can't lose laps under caution in ASA, even if they are counting caution laps."
I love that.
I like that rule, especially for short track racing.
I do. I like that a lot.
That's a good rule.
And it worked to her advantage because she climbed back from outside the top 20 to, was it 9th or 7th?
It was 7th. She was scored 6th at the end, but it was either McKee or Hocevar. One of those two teammate cars was
the transponder was going out. Yeah.
The transponder was out.
Yeah.
Because the Donnie Wilson cars were parked outside of the track. They weren't in the infield. And when I was leaving, I went over and talked to her just very briefly, and her crew chief was talking. They were trying to figure out where they finished, and he had mentioned that they were scored 6th, but it was going to get changed to 7th because of a transponder issue with either Hocevar or McKee won.
What'd she say to you after?
She was kind of mad. Like, she was happy that she had the good run, but she seemed like she was mad, and she thought that she had a top 2 car.
Yeah. Well,
and I mean, that's one of her first ever races in a super. I mean, she's got what I would say less than 5 super starts, right?
Yeah, she had 1 last
2
year.
Before that this week. So this was her 4th super start.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
well, and not comparing, but like I kind of, these are not comparable really, but I do understand her feeling. I mean, what did you and I talk about tonight? We raced the late models at Kern County in my league, and I was as fast as Timothy, who led 100 laps.
You were the second fastest car.
I was second fastest car.
Second fastest car. You finished 7th.
I did actually. Wait, yeah.
Are you sure it's not comparable?
Oh, it is actually quite comparable. So, Jade, I feel you. I get your pain. I wish my pain was your pain and it was real life racing, but at least I can relate on this sort of factor. So, hey, Victory Lane has treated me, iRacing. It's treated you. Hopefully, it treats both of us all the more. So, but if there's anything to take away, I think this is going to be a great, great season for Jade, and something that can really put her even more on the map as not just a great female driver. I think she could be a woman that could be a true face for women in motorsports, because I think she can just be a great driver. Not a great female driver, a great driver.
And I loved the quote. It was, I think it was Monday night. They had her in the booth during the World Series Asphalt, and one of the commentators was asking her what she feels like her success can be for examples to other women in racing. And her response was, I don't know. I wake up in the morning and I think about winning.
Dude, literally, she won on Saturday and was like, I'm focused on Tuesday. Like, celebrate your win, but she knows what she wants.
That's the win.
So, I love it. I really do.
And she was not the only driver I got to talk to there at New Smyrna on Tuesday. I got to talk to Jake Finch for a little bit. Super nice guy, super fun personality. Got to talk to Cole Raz, another super nice guy. Also part of Ford's driver pipeline, which right now is
I love that call.
Not a very big pipeline of drivers that they're developing.
Who is it?
Ford's entire pipeline right now that is below Cup is Nick Sanchez, Cole Butcher, and I'm going off prospects. I'm not talking, Ty Majeski and Ben Rhodes. I think they're career Truck Series guys.
Yeah.
They've been around a long time, so I'm not going to include them. So you have Nick Sanchez, Cole Butcher, and Cole Raz.
Mm-hmm.
The 30 car in ARCA that Cleetus drives sometimes, but I don't think he's really a prospect. He's just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
So you have the 3 of them, and now you have Chase Burrow, who's been on the show.
Yes.
Signed with Hettinger Racing and signed with Ford. So you have you have Butcher, Burrow, Raz, and Sanchez. And that's it. And Jake Garcia.
Hey, Ford. If you need
what are we
a
doing?
5th and 6th, I know a great guy named TW, and I know a great guy named me. Yeah. Hey, look, Ford. We've mentioned it before that they need to get on what Toyota's doing and something of their own format, and this is the start. Hey, Cole Butcher was a Toyota guy. Now, kind of
was
because
he a Toyota guy, or was he just a Donnie Wilson guy?
He was a Donnie Wilson guy, but that's
okay.
But,
I was wondering how that arrangement was.
But Toyota, like that, Donnie Wilson is their team. So within the super side, that is Toyota's team. So he wasn't signed with Toyota. He doesn't have any deals with Toyota, which is why this year, while he's in Ford's deal, he can actually go back and continue. He's going to do starts for Donnie Wilson still.
Yeah.
So he's going to do some super stuff still. He's not completely done with supers. So I was happy to see that because there is no other home in super late models than Donnie Wilson for Cole Butcher. But that's why, because he doesn't have a restriction to Toyota that he can't go back and race over there at Donnie Wilson. But good job for Ford on starting to pick this up. Cole Butcher, excellent guy to be put in your pipeline. I think Cole Raz is too. I want to see more out of him on the East Coast. I think you said he might be doing some more East Coast stuff this year.
Yeah, you told me he moved all of his stuff out to North Carolina, and he's going to focus more on East Coast racing. I don't think he said he's completely done with West Coast racing, but he's not going to take his stuff out and run Cars Tour West anymore. He is focusing on East Coast stuff.
I mean, I love the Cars Tour West and what Kevin Harvick has done with it because it is very important. But it's not a way to make a name for yourself.
Not a national series.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Especially West Coast to sprint car country. I don't care how good you try to be in a super on the West Coast. If you're racing on the West Coast, you're racing in sprint car territory.
I mean, if you want to know the guys right now, who are the guys from the West Coast that are good super late model drivers? You would name Derek Thorne, Jace Hale, and Cole Raz.
Yeah, Jace Hale.
And maybe Jace Hansen. Maybe. You put him in there. But, I mean, if you're going to – any notables, that's the three that you know. But of those three as well, you know Cole Raz and Derek Thorne. And if you don't know any of them, you know Derek Thorne. But that's it. Everyone else you know is from Florida, Georgia, or Alabama, or Michigan, or Wisconsin. So that's super late model country. And even all the people that run up in Michigan and Wisconsin that want to make a name for themselves come south.
They come down south.
Yep. Yeah. So good move by Cole Raz, and I would like to see how he does this year, competing more on the east side. I think it's great for Cole Butcher. We'll get to talk about him more with the Truck Series this year. I'm really glad to see him in that ride. And we'll get to talk to our good friend Chase Burrow, but good job for Ford on picking up the pipeline. I think it definitely needed to be done.
Yeah, and back to the World Series Asphalt. The last big race that we haven't talked about yet was the NASCAR Tour Mod season opener.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Bonsignor handled the field.
Yeah.
Austin Beers did good. I think he got a podium, top 3.
He finished three times at the World Series of Asphalt in a Tour Mod.
I think he got a win. I think he got one win, didn't he?
I don't know, but I know he finished third 3 times. Now he might have. I think he competed a 4th night. I don't think I watched that night, but he did finish third 3 times in a row.
Yeah, and it was a good race. I don't remember it being anything crazy. There was a green-white checkered, and Luke Baldwin spun on the last lap, which gave Bonsignor the win. Tyler Ripkemo ended up P2, and Beers rounded out the podium.
Which I will say, that caution really made me mad because it needed to come out before the white flag. Because it was very obvious that Baldwin they waited way too long.
Yeah, I think that was the objective. They were going to throw it anyway, but they did that just to end the race.
Which I hate. If that's true, which
I don't like.
Respect.
I don't know that. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
Is very much what it looked like because he spun, they waited, Bonsignor crossed the line, they threw the yellow.
Yeah.
And it was bang, bang, bang. It wasn't, let's wait till he gets in the middle of 1 and 2. It was, he crossed the line and they threw the yellow.
Yeah. I don't, we can never know what the reasons were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, I mean, if it's clear that in that scenario, a driver's probably not going to be able to get out of the way in time and get out of the way safely.
No.
So you got to throw it immediately, and that just didn't happen. So that frustrated me with race control. And again, you don't know 100% what they deal with, but put it out. Just err on the side of caution there. So that was the only thing that really made me upset. I think as well, there was a big, big scary moment. I don't remember who the 2 drivers were, but a driver was spun out of turn 2, and another just absolutely creamed him in the driver's side door. And luckily, all drivers were okay, but it was scary.
That might have been on another night, but I think
that was Tour Mod night.
No, it was a Tour Mod race.
Yeah,
or the NASCAR mod Tour Mods.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was the Wayla Modified Tour night. So, but everyone was okay. Nobody was gravely injured. Mm-hmm. Only other thing I want to talk about from the World Series of Asphalt was, I think it was a Wednesday night show, or either Tuesday night after the ASA race. It was Jimmy Renfrew Jr. and Vito Cancilla, and I don't know if you saw this
I think
moment.
that was a Tuesday night because I
Did you
left
see it?
after I saw it on my phone. I didn't see it
Okay.
live. I left after the mod race ended. It was getting late, and I was just like, all right, I'm ready to go to bed. This is gonna sound bad. I'm one of the biggest race fans you'll ever meet, but I was not staying up that late to watch pro late models.
Hey, you did the same thing at Five Flags. We stayed up till 3:30 in the morning, and Gavin, before the race started, was like, I gotta go.
I'm like, I'm not. Which, look, I'm not the one getting me out of my chair, getting me in bed, getting me up the next morning.
It's true.
So I'm trying to be the courteous guy that I'm like, yeah, this is not worth. 2 a.m. is not worth pro late models.
Oh,
Pro late models are not worth 2 a.m.
Well, it was crazy.
And I like watching pro late models. I watched the race.
Well, and you know what happened then? What was
Yeah.
your opinion? Do you think that Vito made contact with his right rear first and that got him loose, or do you think that Renfrew was already loose at a 2?
I haven't watched this in almost a week now, so I'm going back and I'm trying to remember exactly how it went down. But I do feel like I remember Renfrew being more loose than Cancilla there at the end, and he was the one that was upset with Vito.
Well,
And I kind of think and it wasn't completely on him, but I feel like, yeah, because how it went down is Vito slid up into Renfrew with his right rear into Renfrew's left front was it out of 2?
yeah, but it was the other way around.
Okay. Then, yeah. Whoever was on top, I think, was the one that got. Whoever was on bottom, I don't even remember.
Bro is talking.
I just know
Who
Renfrew
knows?
was bad.
Okay. I was like, this guy doesn't even know what he's talking about anymore.
I don't. I was tired.
I
remember Jimmy Renfrew being mad.
Bro could have just said that.
I'm trying to remember, but I can't.
Well, I think at most it was a racing incident. It looked like to me that maybe Renfrew was already loose before him and Vito touched. But if they touched any before, Renfrew was kind of sliding up into Vito, and Vito kind of stuck right there. It was late in the race. He really didn't have any time to back out. And Renfrew slid up across his nose, and right when he did that, he kind of parked his rear bumper up on the nose, and it lifted the rears. And it started to get Renfrew loose. He corrected back to the right and slammed into the wall. Pretty much destroyed his right front, and Vito was able to get up under it. Then, this is what made me mad. I don't care if Vito had a flat-out wrecked him. This is what was just uncalled for, and you cannot do.
I remember this part. I do
Renfrew
remember this.
comes back around, drives through the field under caution at high speed, and in turn
With
1 and
3
turn
wheels
2,
that work.
with 3 wheels that work, and in turn 1 and turn 2 came and tried to wreck Cancilla while there was a car completely stopped at the exit of turn 2. Tried to wreck Cancilla. Could have easily wrecked himself and the other car into a stationary car. I think he deserved a penalty. He might have gotten one because we didn't see him race. Now, the commentator said that he went home. It could have been Newsom or a track official saying, you need to go home. But that is uncalled for. I don't care how mad you are. I don't care what happened. You put other racers and other people, track officials, in danger. And you can't do that.
No.
So, especially if you're in the wrong. Like, I still think at most it was a racing incident between the two. And he'd been getting torn up all weekend, but I'm not here to hate on anybody and how they drive, but I would say that Renfrew has a image that people know that we would have described as similar to Connor Jones in the past, and people know that, and so people race him that way, and it doesn't always end well, and he's usually the one that's upset, and I don't know. I mean, sometimes you just have to know when to chill.
Yeah.
So
you got to know when to just call it a night.
So, and again, whether it was him saying, all right, we got to go home, or track officials, that was definitely a dangerous moment.
You
and
went
something,
home. That's all that matters. You went
yeah.
home.
And again, I don't not like Jimmy Renfrew, but you just can't be doing these controversial things, especially things that are unsafe and putting people in dangerous situations.
I'm doing it repeatedly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we got more things to talk about with short track, but we're going to go. Do we want to go to Daytona first, or we want to talk about this?
I want to hear your weekend at Florence is what I want to hear.
Okay. So I got the call 1 week before the race from my producer at Sobo, who has worked at Florence before, and he said, you want to come call the IceBreaker? And I was like, what weekend? He was like, a week from now. And I was like, whoa, that is not a lot of time to get stuff together. But I was like, when am I going to get another chance to call the IceBreaker? Because who knows? Because it's not on Flow anymore. And I was like, who knows? So I was like, okay, let's do it. Now, I don't go into a race with no information or just wing it. That is not my style. Calling races and announcing is what I want to do as a professional. And I don't take that lightly. So I prepare for every race like it is going to be the best race in the world. And I'm going to do an absolute banging job. And I believe we did as a team. So drove to South Carolina, drove in my car, and it was about an 8-hour drive for me. Got to walk around the track on Friday night and just kind of get a lay of the land. And it's always really cool going to a new racetrack for the first time, especially one that you've seen a lot on TV, and just seeing things that you would never know unless you were there. I think that's one of my funnest experiences when going to a new racetrack and being like, wow, I wouldn't have known this, and things like that. So we had a good car count. We had 3 of the guys from the Ram Race for the Seat series that were there. And Landon Huffman got to give us some great insight on the series itself and what it was like. Me and my buddy Chase Folsom.
Landon's a cool dude. I like Landon a lot.
I like him a lot. And there are a lot of late model guys that I really like. And hopefully this year I'll become more friends with a lot more of them as I'm around a lot more races. But one of my favorite things is becoming friends with drivers just as people. Because so many people treat drivers as celebrities. And it's cool to have that. Yeah. But, a lot of drivers just want to be people. They're just racers, and they're working on the week.
And that's and that's the coolest thing is when you talk to these drivers, and you don't go up and ask for a picture or ask for you just go up and start talking. The interactions get so much better with them then because it's less. They turn off their publicity mode and just go into hanging out. Yeah, and that was fun because like I said, this weekend I went to dirt race on Monday at Fallujah, and then Tuesday I brought my dog with me, my service dog. I brought him to the racetrack, and then just having that is like, hey, start talking. They start playing with my dog, and it's like, okay, now we're just hanging out as friends, and I'm not some fan asking some goofy questions.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. And I mean, my in is always being the announcer, so I like that in. But a lot of them usually just start chatting.
That makes it a little more. That makes it a little more professional.
It does. So we're usually able to chill it out, though. But we woke up. So I slept in a trailer that weekend. And my producer's trailer that he has. And I was very thankful to have a place to stay. But, Gavin, this was not a nice trailer. No heat.
A camper trailer?
No water. Oh, yeah, camper trailer. No heat. Okay. No water. Nothing. So
you might as well have been sleeping in a tent.
Basically, it's
a metal tent with a mattress.
Yeah, I had an air mattress that I brought and a sleeping bag, and it was cold. It was 28 degrees, so it was cold. So it was 40 something inside the camper. I kept socks on, so because my feet would have frozen.
Sound fun.
Well, I mean it was fine. So this is funny. We didn't have water, and I woke up the next day. I think we went to Buffalo Wild Wings on Friday night. It was me, my producer, and Chase Folsom. And he's the announcer at Ace Speedway this year. And he is one of my good friends from up north. And
I think I met Chase. He was at the Snowball, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. And
Yeah, I
he
met Chase. I like Chase.
he
Chase is
just
a good
got
dude.
that job. Oh, he's a great dude. They're all so much fun. And so we'd never gotten to call a race before. And I was actually one of the people that was like, hey, you need to get into the booth. And there were a lot of other people that told him that before me, but I was one of the people that told him. So he kind of was like, all right, let's do this. So him and I were very excited to get to call a race together. And so we hung out the night before. We were all staying in that trailer, and it was a ton of fun. Went to bed pretty late. And woke up next morning, and I went ahead and made my protein shake. Needed some good energy for the day. I gotta be well fed and everything before race day. So we went around, started talking to a lot of drivers, and just chatting with them. And everything was pretty normal. I mean, it was a normal race day.
Yeah.
There was gonna be some other divisions. The thing was, in the week before prepping for this race, the only names we knew were the late model drivers. There was no list of names for any of the local drivers. So it was kind of like, just figure it out. Which I didn't like because I liked
something on iRacing.
I know. Well, and that's where we were fine. But it was like, there was very minimal information. And I didn't like that because I like to have everything possible at my disposal that I can have. And when you don't have the names of drivers, you can't look them up. So, but again, I mean, no system is a perfect system. So, did some of the local deals. That was really fun. Then it came the late model race. And 80 laps green without a caution. And it was insane.
Yeah.
On lap, no. Before this, we had already lost timing and scoring. There was no...
You told me this.
There was no lap times. There was no running order. Nothing. We had to just figure out and count who was where and remember who was a lap down. So that became a bit of a challenge.
Like we're calling a race in the 50s.
It was crazy. But like me and Chase, like both professionals, like we figured it out. You would have, besides the graphics not being on screen, you would have never known. So, and I don't say that out of pride or ego, but just out of, we were pure professionals about it. So then on lap 80, when we get that first caution, timing and scoring comes back. And we're like, awesome, this is great. And it was really cool, like calling a race at a different track, because up until this point, I'd only ever called races at Sobo. And I hope to do more stuff a lot of other places this year, but Sobo's my home. So, not going anywhere. And so it was very cool just getting to call something different and at a different place. At this point, the tires had worn out a little bit more. And so people were starting to move around, shuffle. Lee Pulliam, he ran this race. And boy, was he fast, especially after he got that break. He was kind of waiting on caution, and he started driving through the field. And so Keelan Harvick, though, had been up front most of the day. He was running second, I think, for that first 80 laps. But we get timing and scoring back, and Keelan Harvick takes the lead with probably 30 to go. And so me and Chase are just calling at this point. Everything's normal, and it's great. It's a completely fun race. It's awesome. And with, I believe, 13 to go, so on lap 112, Keelan comes across the start-finish line, and timing and scoring goes out. And we're like, what? And we're really confused because we just got it back. What's the problem? What's going on now? So we're once again without timing and scoring. And to the end of the race, and Chase told me, he was like, I want you to do the finish. He was like, at this point, I think you're going to do a better job. And I was like, stay humble. I was like, I appreciate you saying that. We each could do a great job, but I'll take if you're going to give it to me, I'll take it. And I'll always look back at my race calls and nitpick them and see what I could have changed. But for what the moment was, I still thought it was good. But I'll still go back and listen to it and be like, dang it, I should have changed that word or switch the order of that or what all that stuff. But I could do that all day long, Gavin. But so we went back, and after the interviews and everything, we were like, why did we lose timing and scoring? And someone from the tower goes, oh, well, Keelan Harvick's body work cut it. It cut the scoring loop on the racetrack.
That's pretty funny.
And that's no fault of Keelan's. Like, he just got into the wall, but like,
No.
it just perfectly happened to be right where the cable runs in the wall. Like, and it's in the wall. It's not on top of it. It's in a little crack. So his body work just perfectly got right in there and just cut it.
Mm-hmm.
So we had
That's
to,
wild.
and then as announcers, we had to watch the flagmen to know what lap we were on to make sure we were getting the call to the finish correctly. So it was just a wild day. And then even after that, there was a Crown Vic race, which just went all to crap. And it just became a demo derby and was just
Crown Vics.
It was just entertainment central. So we wondered why the Crown Vic race was after. We figured it out. So, but it was fun, and I am humble to get to say forever that I called Keelan Harvick's first ever late model stock win, and I think that is really cool.
That's awesome.
And it was fun. I mean, it was so fun, and I can't wait to do it again. And I guess only 6 weeks until I'm back in the booth.
That's exciting.
So it was a great time.
It's gonna be a long month.
I know,
but I think you're gonna make it.
I know. Needed that.
All right. Now, you want to get into Daytona. Now, we've made everybody wait a little while.
We have. Let's do it.
Let's start with the 500 yesterday. 2 big stories. First one was the fuel saving, and what do we think about it? What can NASCAR do about it? Is it something we got to deal with? Something that needs to change? Or just part of racing now?
Yeah, I don't know, because a lot of the argument was about that fuel takes longer to do than tires because the tires are so fast at this point.
Tires.
But that was
there's no tire wear anyway. It's Daytona.
Well, I mean,
there's a little bit, but not much.
You got to let me get to my point.
Okay.
I was gonna say it doesn't matter here. It doesn't apply because they're not taking tires. And which makes you think for so many years, this could have been the deal of people could have saved fuel to make less times at the pit stops. They could have done it all these years because we've been super speedway racing since the 50s. The biggest thing that made it change not only was this 7th gen car, but I think the 7th gen car helped it. But I think it's the combination of the 7th gen car and stage racing.
Yeah, and there was a lot. I think stage racing honestly has a bigger impact than the 7th gen car because most of the time under green anyway at Daytona and Talladega, you're not going to take tires anyway. You're only going to take tires at caution under yellow.
Yeah.
And so the difference of it's the single lug on the next gen car, or 5 lug nuts on the Gen 6. I don't think that's that big of a deal. But I think a scheduled caution does change it because let's say you decide, okay, we're not going to save fuel. We're just going to drive away from everybody. Okay, well, the field's still going to get bunched back up when we're under yellow anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then so you're going to want to save that 1 or 2 seconds on pit road, which 2 seconds on pit road could be 5 or 6 spots or more. And I have kind of a goofy strategy, or not strategy, but way to combat this, but I don't think NASCAR would do it. I don't think the teams would agree to it. Close pit road the entirety of a stage break. You cannot pit under a stage caution. And because think about it, the reason we have stage breaks, a lot of people said that the rule was for competition reasons or to reward drivers for running good most of the race if something happened to them mechanical wise at the end. But the real reason there's stage breaks in that it is a caution and not just, okay, let's score some points and keep racing. It's TV timeout. It is 2 guaranteed TV commercial breaks that will be under yellow. That is why we have it. It's the same thing as a 2-minute warning in the NFL or, the timeouts in basketball that are scheduled every game. So if it's not a competition reason for a caution, why are we letting them pit?
Yeah. Well,
why don't we just rack the field back up, run 2 laps, get your 3-minute commercial break, 6 30-second ad breaks, and go back racing.
I see what you're saying, and
I don't think it would ever work, and I don't think they're going to do that. It's just kind of that goofy idea that's like, why haven't we thought of this, or at least attempted it once?
Yeah, I mean, I can see what you're saying, but I think people would more question, okay, why are we intentionally closing pit road in this scenario? I think the easier scenario, and yes, I know the caution is most likely for TV to be able to have some time where they can put commercials on screen. You're not missing any racing. Under yellow.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you give me the option of, hey, we're going to break this race into 3 parts, or and you're going to see more racing under green, or this race is going to be the full scheduled distance, and you're only going to see a caution if there's debris or cars or something unsafe for people to remain
but you're gonna
racing.
Miss some of it for
but you're going to miss a little bit of it for commercials. I would rather the race stay green, because I, for a long time, didn't agree with, the stage breaks are it's like 3 races now. It's not 1 race. I think it was Mark Martin that was saying this, or it was Kenny Wallace that was saying it. Some of them
said it too.
But the more I have thought about it, the more I've started to agree. Now, Super Speedway is a little bit different. The field's going to be in a pack the whole race, so the cautions really don't change that much. This only changes the fuel saving, but it makes me more think that, yes, in every other race besides Super Speedway racing, it eliminates everything you do in previous stages besides getting you some extra points. I think it would be more beneficial if we're trying to award drivers points for doing well throughout the race rather than just results. I love that. I think that is absolutely needed. I think it makes sense to reward drivers for where they are at points in the race and the end rather than just the end. But I less and less have liked the idea that we're going to stop it. Like stop the racing and eliminate what the leaders or anyone else has created in their advantage, because it takes away their advantage. So, and there's 2 sides to that coin, Gavin. We could talk about this all day long. You could see that, and we could have a race go flag to flag, and someone win by half a lap, and people could complain about that. There's always going to be something to complain about, and it would be different. I don't know how that would look with this 7th generation car and how it races, but I more and more have agreed with the premise that it is now 3 races rather than just 1.
Yeah, and like you said, people are going to complain about something. We're race fans. That's what we do, is complain. But
I don't know how you fix the fuel saving, though, besides take them out.
Yeah,
even if it's just at super speedways.
Yeah, so, I don't know what we're going to do. I think it's... I was in the car watching the race. I was on I-75 between Orlando and Atlanta. There was more passing on the interstate than there was during the second stage of the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
We were 3 wide just as much. But the big one on the coming to the end of stage 2, Allgaier washes up, kind of a late block, kind of washes up into Kyle Larson, I think, and just takes out everybody. Denny Hamlin, yeah.
Yeah, it was just a...
What's funny is I looked at the drivers in the top 10, and outside of Denny Hamlin, it was a lot of guys that have less experience running up front.
Yeah.
Justin Allgaier was up there. He's up front in Xfinity, or O'Reilly a lot. How many times am I going to call it the Xfinity Series this year?
A lot.
Yeah, but he was up front. I remember Zane Smith, Todd Gilliland, Noah Grace, all 3 front row cars were up front. Riley Herbst was up front. Just drivers you don't see all the time up front. Now, I was thinking to myself, the big one's about to happen. I was saying that as they were in 3 and 4, and then in the trioval, the big one happened. And it took out, seemed like, everybody.
I liked Allgaier being up front. I like him a lot. I love Junior Motorsports.
That was awesome.
It was awesome. I just think he didn't make a decision. Whether he was going to he thought it was too big of a run to block and was going to move out of the way and just get picked up by another lane, or he was going to block it. I just think he kind of sat in the middle of it, and there was enough of a hole for Denny to pull into, and it would have made no sense for Denny to take a left and try to pick up Allgaier. I don't think there's any way you can blame that on Denny. There was a hole for him. He tried to go and keep that momentum because they did have a lot of momentum, and I think it was just that Allgaier didn't make a decision.
Yeah, it was just a late decision. And to me, that's the difference between Cup stars and O'Reilly and Truck stars. Like, the little details is the difference between the top 3 series at this point. Because everybody is insanely talented, but quick decision making, being confident in what you're doing at that time, that's the difference between guys that are good in Trucks and O'Reilly and great Cup Series stars.
Yeah.
But yeah, the wild last lap too. Tyler Reddick, congratulations on winning maybe one of the wildest last laps we've seen at the Daytona 500.
Shout out to NASCAR Race Control for deeming that the first incident was not necessary to throw a caution. I think it's absolutely important that if there is a wreck on the last lap, that a driver could be in need of medical assistance or there's something that's unsafe, that the caution does need to be thrown. I don't believe that it's like, oh, it's the last lap. Like, someone could slam into the outside wall and something could happen. Like, there are very many situations where something happens and we can't race back to the line. It's just someone needs to be attended to or something's going to be unsafe. I'm really glad that it wasn't, oh, they're wrecking, button, hit the caution button. I'm really glad that Race Control was like, okay, nobody hit the wall really hard. Everyone looks okay. Everyone's getting out of the way. We can stay green. I'm glad it was a quick, okay, everything. Let's assess the situation as quick as possible.
It was a big wreck.
It was. Like, I was for sure that the caution was coming out. And it didn't.
Especially with NASCAR's most popular driver being the leader.
Dude, I heard a lot of conspiracies about that it was like,
yeah.
Well, it's definitely not true, because if it was, there was your scenario. So
yeah, and
I really want. I remember in the last couple of laps that I was looking at Joey and I was like, where he is, and man, he just did not have a pusher.
That, and he talked after the race. He had some damage on the front end of the car that once he got to the front of the line, his car just, it couldn't go.
I heard him say that too.
There was enough damage from the wreck that he could get to the front, but he couldn't be out front.
Yeah. Well, I honestly thought as well, good move from Riley Herbst to help.
I thought Herbst was going to win for a minute.
I don't know how that would have fared. But I do think he did a great job in playing a great teammate, in pushing Reddick and staying with him. And I thought Reddick, perfect execution out of 4. Faked high, and Chase went high, and then bam, Reddick shoots back low. And I loved Chase's interview, and that he was honest. He was like, I could have double blocked it, but he was like, if I did, we probably both would have been wrecked. And he's right, because if he would have tried to block it again down to the bottom, he'd have just turned right into Reddick, and they'd have both gone through the infield, which would have been interesting to see if they would have. What if someone would have won from the freaking infield?
That'd be awesome.
But I think Chase is right, and I think it's very difficult to be in his scenario, because it's like, if you don't block him high and he actually goes high, well, you just let him by. But if he fakes you, it was just, there was such a run for the 45 that there wasn't much that Chase could do. And I applaud him for not, I can get this block. He was very realistic, even in a moment where it's very easy to not be realistic and be like, I got to make a move, which is what Riley Herbst kind of did, and that he didn't want to push Chase, so he thought he might have been clear. You can't really your spotter doesn't know what you're planning in that moment. So he went high, tapped the brake, it sounded like, from Denny Hamlin's podcast, and Keselowski was there. I don't really blame him for trying
Brad
to go
was
up
mad
high.
about it.
Brad was upset. I don't really blame him. I don't think it was some insane move, but, I mean, it was what it
You're
was.
gonna be mad. You had a shot to win the Daytona 500 and didn't win it.
Yeah.
And he's been trying to
Brad,
win it for almost
Brad,
20 years now.
and I get that too, but the push Brad had from Joey, there was not enough time, not enough road to get to the front before Reddick.
No.
Physically impossible. Now,
Once
he might
they
have
were on the
finished
backstretch,
second.
There were 3 drivers with a chance.
Yeah.
Like once they were out of 2, it was going to be Reddick, Zane Smith, or Chase Elliott. Like that was the 3 that were going to win by the time they were out of 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and Zane Smith, I mean, I don't think he wanted to push a Toyota or a Chevy to the victory. I mean, he kind of backed off there. And I think if Zane Smith would have stayed with Chase, it would have been very difficult for Chase to lose it.
Well, I think Zane's idea was back off enough to get a draft.
Oh,
Because
yes.
You're not going to get – yeah, I mean, he wasn't, I'm not going to push a Chevy. It was, I got to get around him. I can't get around him if I'm on his bumper.
Oh, I wasn't saying let me not push a Chevy was his initial thought.
Okay. Yeah,
but
okay,
he
I
was like, I can't just – if I stay here, I'm finishing second.
Yeah, so he had to make a move. But when he backed out, Reddick and Stenhouse, their run was too good.
But I thought Reddick's execution of the move off 4 was a textbook. I really did. I think you could study that move.
Yeah, what a feel-good win. I mean, he wasn't in victory lane at all last year.
Hey,
went winless.
He got a haircut, and bam.
He's back.
He's back.
He's back.
Thank goodness he got a haircut.
And we haven't even talked about this season's format now that we're watching it in progress, which we're going to talk about that next episode. We got to get a few races under us before we start talking about what we think the championship's going to be. So
Joey's off to a good start.
I know. So we got that. Daytona 500. Seemed like 10, maybe 15 drivers had a shot with 2 laps to go.
Yeah,
made all the right choices and got the win.
Sorry, I think that all the fuel saving in stage 3 was made up for in the last couple of laps.
Yeah, that's what we were laughing about in our group text.
I know
we were not happy at the start of the 3rd stage. We were all messaging each other. What are we watching? This is terrible. And then at the end, we were like, "Oh my god, that was awesome!"
Yeah.
Yeah. Like NASCAR
again,
marketing
typical
campaign.
NASCAR fan.
Hell yeah.
Seriously.
They're doing great with that.
I love it. Hey, I'm for it. Go NASCAR.
Hell yeah. Friday night, Chandler Smith wins the truck race. And it's very similar finish.
And what a crazy fashion.
He was, 7th coming out of 4?
6th or 7th.
Because they were 3 wide and 6th.
No, I didn't even mean it that way. I hate that joke.
Yeah, I know.
But he was way back there in turn 3.
Yeah, and I don't even remember who all it was up front, but they started washing each other up the track, and he just had a huge run, just goes to the bottom and passes all of them in the last probably, 75, 80 feet?
I mean, yeah. Let me go look because I want to make sure I know who exactly it was. Yeah, it was Gio Ruggiero, Eckes, which I'm so surprised Eckes, BMR did not give him the 19 back. But anyway, sidebar. Majeski was there. He pushed Smith, I think. And then Nemechek and Stenhouse Jr. So they were all in the picture. But, I mean, I really thought Gio Ruggiero was about to get the win. And that's also the 2nd year in a row he's finished 2nd in the truck at Daytona.
Yeah.
In the spring.
And like we said, he wasn't real happy or sad about it. He was,
no.
I got second.
Yeah. Hey, second place. So I really thought Nemechek had a great shot for it, but again, I think it was Gio trying to pull a move, Nemechek trying to block it, and then they just kind of washed up with each other, and here comes Chandler Smith. Like that literally in that moment, like I mean, what a moment it would have been to be in the booth. Like I pray for the day when I am able to call NASCAR trucks and could be in the booth for a moment like that.
Mhm.
Literally, I mean, it's here comes Gio. They wash up. Here comes Chandler Smith. Like it literally played out like a storybook moment for a race call at the line. And I loved it. Like I literally in my head, that's what at my TV. I was like, oh,
Yeah. It was awesome.
it was great. I thought the truck race was really fun. Brandon Queen in his not truck debut but full season debut finished 7th.
Yeah, he did really good. The Rams seemed a little hit or miss on their speed.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the Rams seemed fast all night. Some of them were fast in qualifying. Some of them seemed a little bit off. Tyrell ended up with a pretty solid finish, I think, but he seemed like either he was laying back most of the night.
I think he
or
was.
That the Ram, yeah, I mean, he has no experience super speedway racing.
No, none. And so I think it was. I think one of Minnie Tyrell's goals this season is to run all the laps. And I saw him laying back for a lot of the race, and I was like, okay, he's learning.
Yeah.
Which is a great call.
Because the ARCA race, which is supposed to be your trial run to get ready for the top 3 levels of NASCAR, is ran on Saturday after the truck race.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he had no idea what he was doing. I mean, Minnie Tyrell's a great racer.
But that was his first time in the draft ever.
In a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he goes out, runs single car qualifying, makes the show, does good, just kind of lays back.
And honestly, I think it was a great call for his first run. Finished 19th because of it. Didn't get any wrecks. I hope, though, I will say, a lot of the Ram Race for the Seat series was about making sure you don't tear up equipment. And so I do hope this year that Minnie isn't afraid of wrecking a car. Like you don't want to go.
I don't think he's going to be afraid.
No, I know.
He's not race afraid.
I know, but again, this is a very different scenario for him. This is no longer his equipment, and he's very respectful.
It's someone else's.
And he's very respectful of other people's stuff. So I hope that he and Ram are like, hey, obviously we don't want to just go tear up race cars. Duh. Mm-hmm. But we want you to race. So I don't want him to race scared because he's worried to tear something up. And again, we don't know the situation that Ram is in and Kaulig Racing. 5 full-time trucks is a huge endeavor. So we don't know how many backup trucks they have. We don't know, who knows? But I think with all that Minnie Tyrell had going into that first race, no super speedway experience, first ever truck race, I think he did the best job you could. I really do. Top 20. Yeah. And that is a huge W for him. Justin Haley led laps. I am really excited to watch Kaulig Racing this year in Ram. Also, I think Justin Haley's Ram truck with the white and then the decals looked the best. Because I'm not going to lie, Gavin, I think that Ram truck is mean. I like it.
I think it's mean. I think my 2 favorite Ram trucks were Minnie's and Tony Stewart's. The black.
Dude, I was so upset about Tony Stewart.
Yeah.
Dude, and he was like, man, I was just getting the hang of it. And I'm like, ah. I was never a Tony Stewart fan, but that was really cool. And I think
he hadn't raced in almost 10 years. And
I know.
Back in the seat.
It's
cool to see.
Yeah. So
this is going to sound weird because when I say it, because Tony Stewart seems so much happier than he did during his full-time NASCAR career, just in that short interview.
I think he had a great time.
He seems like it seems like he's having fun, doing the drag race and stuff, and just I don't think he's as stressed right now as he was being a team owner in NASCAR and competing every week at Cup Series level. And now he's just getting to hang out and had a good, fun one-off race. And, okay, I'm going to complain about the free agent truck just for a minute here. Why is Ty Dillon the free agent driver?
Yeah,
He is not a free agent. I did not like that. When I was hearing we're having a free agent car, I was expecting a lot of Cars Tour and ASA drivers, a lot of Truck and Xfinity guys that have lost their ride in the last couple of years. I'm expecting to see guys like Kyle Weatherman and Chase Purdy and Ryan Truex in the truck, and you're throwing a full-time Cup regular from your team in a free agent truck.
Yeah,
What are we doing?
I
Okay,
thought that too.
I was promised free agents. Why am I not getting a free agent?
Hey, that's a fair opinion. You're entitled to it.
And I like Ty Dillon. I'm not mad that Ty Dillon's getting more seat time. I like Ty. It's just I don't like the context of that.
Yeah. No, I get it. And hey, what about Stuart Friesen in his return from breaking his back last year? Gets a top 10.
Yeah. Where did Butcher end up? I feel like
Butcher
you're looking
14th.
at the
14th, yeah.
another guy with hardly any super speedway experience.
I know. Survive. Hey, Frankie Muniz finished 16th. Travis Pastrana was 15th. Nick Lights was 11th.
Who wins Truck Series Rookie of the Year this year?
Dude.
You have to pick right now.
Who's the other one?
It's Minnie, Brendan Queen, and Cole Butcher.
I think Queen.
I'm going to go with Cole Butcher because
Really?
I think that sport is more established than Colleague as a truck program. I think ThorSport, they've been around almost the entirety of the truck series. They've won championships with multiple drivers. They seem to win races almost every year. They didn't win one last year. But I think Butcher's in a solid established position. Brendan Queen is great. I think he's just as good, if not maybe a little bit better of a driver than Cole Butcher. But we're looking at Ram as an OEM who hasn't been in the sport in over a decade.
It's true. There's going to be
bumps. What's going to happen to these motors? What are these motors going to do at 1.5 mile or 2 mile track for 250 miles when they haven't been tested?
Yeah. No, and it's definitely a gamble.
I think there's going to be mechanical problems. There's going to be, nothing like crazy. I don't think it's going to be a dud of a year for the whole program. But you have 5 full-time trucks. One of those trucks is a different driver every week.
Mm-hmm.
You're a new OEM. You're not used to running a truck series program. You've been primarily Cup and O'Reilly up until this point. I just think there's going to be growing pains and a few gremlins along the way that are going to allow Cole Butcher to be a little more consistent. But I think Brendan might have higher highs than Butcher. And I think Minnie Tyrell's going to be in a similar situation as Brendan Queen, just, a few spots behind. Not a lot.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. And the reason I say Queen is because I think Butcher, he's had a couple truck starts, but he's someone who's never been able to break into the top 3 series of NASCAR. And Queen is just coming off of an 8-win season in the ARCA series at, Michigan, at short tracks, at 1.5 miles, at Daytona. Like, he won at all different.
Corey.
I know.
We watched him outrace Corey Heim.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he has very recent experience at a lot of NASCAR-style tracks, not just short tracks. And Butcher, I think he is going to have that transition period that Queen did, that Queen had to figure it out. And, I mean, he did very quickly, and Butcher could as well, but I think Queen is coming off of a very hot gear in exactly what NASCAR is all about and the tracks that they go to. So I think he's got a leg up, and I think you could be right in that Butcher has a leg up in terms of his ride and ThorSport being established. So it could be a big fight between them. I don't want to count out Tyrell, but I think of the 3 of them, he's in the what is it? Not worst, but worst position.
He's got the highest ladder to climb.
He does. I mean, his highest level of racing was late model stocks, and kid has, and I say kid, he's my age, bro.
Well, I'm 3 years older than you, and I feel like a kid. So
hey, bro has talent, and he has racecraft. Yeah. I think it's just going to take him time as well. So, but like you said earlier, it's going to be fun to watch in terms of the Rookie of the Year battle. The Truck Series is going to be fun this year. I think the Truck Series is going to be one of these series to watch. So let's move on to our final deal.
The O'Reilly race.
Yes.
Austin Hill wins again.
I was going to say, I think I saw a comment that was like, why did everybody decide to not work together to beat Austin Hill?
Austin Hill versus the power of friendship.
Hey, you got to give him his props. He is just great when it comes to super speedways.
He is really good at blocking. He knows how to manage all 3 lanes of a race in the cars that are the most unstable of the 3 top 3 series. And he just understands super speedway racing. And like I was talking with the difference between racecraft in the O'Reilly series and the Cup series, as far as super speedway racing goes, his racecraft is probably top 5 in all of NASCAR across all 3 series.
Mm-hmm.
And having that advantage in the second tier, he's going to win more than he's going to lose on these tracks. And it was a fun race, solid race. I enjoyed watching it. It was a wild wreck.
Yeah.
Near the end, I think that was start of stage 3.
I don't even remember. But hey, let's talk about it.
One of the biggest ARCA break moments we've seen in a long time, coming from a driver that has been memed to death. We've made fun of things she's done in the race car. Nataile Decker just comes out of nowhere and just annihilates Sam Mayer after he's been stopped on the track.
Yeah. This is my opinion. I'm looking it up right now. I like what Carson Elliott said today on Door Bumper Clear that you and I were talking about earlier.
I loved it.
I loved it.
She kind of went off on it.
She said that, and I like as well, Taylor Reimer commented on Dirty Mo Media's post and said, I'm glad someone's speaking out about this. Women deserve to be in NASCAR, but there are good and bad ways for women to be represented. And I think Decker, especially this weekend, is, from an analysis perspective, a bad way for women to be represented. And that you could say women are bad race car drivers. Because it's not true. It's not. And there's so many women that have been excellent in motorsport and that are up and coming that are excellent. And not just because they're women, because they're good drivers.
No.
But moments like this make people believe, people that don't do their research or anything like that, make people believe that it's like, oh, they don't belong here. And it's like, that's just not true. But it's these moments that get publicized.
And she's doing it at the highest level right now of any woman in NASCAR, other than Catherine Legg, who is great. Like, Catherine Legg's awesome, but she's in a BJ McLeod car part-time, so it's just kind of, it's a BJ McLeod. It's a open car on a part-time basis, and she's been racing for a long time. She's twice the age of the other women we're going to talk about in this conversation, but to watch her do that in an O'Reilly Series race, and I'm going to step back, and I'm just going to point out, at Phoenix here in a few weeks, with the drivers that we know that are going to be in the lineup, there's 6 women who have more talent than Nataile Decker that are racing in an ARCA West race, while she's out there making my bonehead of the week move in an O'Reilly race. That's a problem. I've watched specifically Jade Avedisian and Kaylee Bryson go to the Tulsa Expo Center and outrace David Gravel, outrace Brad Sweet. I've seen them outrace Stephen Nasse, Derek Thorne, Dawson Sutton, like the driver we're talking about, outracing them. And you have Nataile Decker running 54th in an O'Reilly race.
Yeah. Well, and this isn't.
Sorry, I'm getting a little irritated.
Well,
by that.
I know. Well, and this isn't the Nataile Decker crap show, but I mean, let's be honest. No. I'm gonna say something too. Like, it is about representation, and to add on to this point, I mean, earlier in the day, she was with Bert Kreischer, And I love Bert Kreischer. He's freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
But what people
Bert's
know
awesome.
Bert Kreischer for is his comedy and doing his comedy shirtless. She
Yeah.
took a picture with Bert Kreischer with her fire suit on, with the top off, and it was just her bra.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's funny. But as a representation of women in motorsport, that is a terrible representation. It's unserious. It's
Yeah, I'm okay
I
with drivers
hate
being
it. I
unserious.
hate it
I
for
mean,
women
we have-
wanting to be serious in this
yeah.
sport. Like Taylor Reimer, that she made that comment, like Jade Avedisian, like Laney Bice, like Kaylee Bryson, all these women, and even younger women that want to get into racing.
Isabella
I
Robusto.
hate that this image will hurt their chances. I hate it, and it's not right.
Yeah, and I've talked to I've met all the women we've talked about in this discussion, and even Carson, and there's just a seriousness that there's 5 of them bring a more level of seriousness than definitely one of them, and a little bit more than another.
Yeah. So anyway, we could go
You
on
can
about
just tell-
this.
Yeah, sorry.
You're
we can
good.
talk in circles, and I can get mad about this. I can get heated about, and it's not just because it's women in racing. It's when you see someone who is, I'm not going to say gifted, but given a ride due to some circumstances, and then you see very talented drivers not getting a shot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's look at short track drivers. Let's look at the Ram race for the seat. You have 15 guys. This is what Landon Huffman was saying. 15 guys that can drive the heck out of a race car.
Don't have money.
Everybody that was on that show is probably better than 10 of the 30 full-time Truck Series drivers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that as a drag on them. I'm just saying, like, how many of the best drivers in the country aren't in the top 4 series in NASCAR?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you. And we could go on about it, but that was one of the big things from the O'Reilly Series race, and it's definitely gotten a lot of traction. And I think especially within people within the media of NASCAR are talking about the right things. Exactly what you and I are talking about, and that we need better representation in terms of seriousness for the sport, for women, for drivers, all of it. And again, this is not the Nataile Decker crap show, but if she wants to continue to race in NASCAR, she needs to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's my end of day.
Yeah.
If she could watch this, she could say, screw you, Scott, and not agree with me. And there will be some people that may not agree with me. But that is the beauty of media and our opinions. So, Gavin and I usually don't like to get too in depth on that because we both want careers in NASCAR. We don't want to make anybody mad. But there has to be truth at the end of the day.
And like I said, I think this is probably the most heated I've gotten on the year we've had the show. I don't know if I have a moment that I can.
You haven't.
Where I've got...
This is it. This is the one.
Yeah, this is my crash out of the. So we've had our badass and bonehead of the week. I think I just had a crash out of the year.
No, literally. Well, hey, speaking of that, let's go ahead and do our badass and bonehead of the week. Let's start with bonehead.
Well, we know who mine is. We just talked about it.
Yeah, that's yours. Well, you might as well go. That's yours, Nataile Decker. Mine is going to be the Jimmy Renfrew incident with trying to wreck Kinsella when there was lap traffic and stopped cars on the racetrack. That was
going to be mine up until Saturday.
Okay. Dude, you and I are always on the same track.
Well, there are things that you watch a race and you just shake your head at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I want to hear your badass.
You go first because I still am not 100% sure.
Well, I'm going to get back on track here with the positive things, the things that people really want to see in racing. 14-year-old Paulie Hartwig III on one of the Tour Mod nights, the World Series of Asphalt, wins his first high-level Tour Mod race, not just 602 mods or SKs at a local level. 14 years old. The rest of the top 5, I don't remember the exact order. Ron Silk, Austin Beers, Ryan Preece, and Luke Baldwin.
Insane.
I mean,
kids got talent.
Yeah, I mean, I look at 14-year-olds right now, kids that are 14 and under. Could he be the modified version of this talented this early as Keelan Harvick?
I don't know. Possibly. Let's keep. Hey,
I think
he's someone we need to put on our list.
Yeah, Paulie Hartwig III. This is a guy we need to start looking out for this year. You can't have as good of a week as he had this World Series of Asphalt and not see more of him. So we're gonna definitely see more of him as the year goes on, especially in the mod races up in the Northeast.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Mine has got to be Vito Cancilla. Another 14-year-old won the Pro Late Model Division championship at the World Series of Asphalt. Had a very consistent week. I think he's also someone we need to keep our eye on. He made a couple starts last year. Didn't see much of him, but he absolutely popped off in the World Series of Asphalt. So we'll keep our eye open for him as well. But a lot of young drivers being very smart and showing their talent.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's end with some more positivity going into dirt.
Yeah, like I said, I had a trip down to Florida, had some fun, got to go to Volusia on Monday night, USAC season opener, as well as the dirt car late models were racing. I thought it was still part of the modified program. I'm checking my race pass. I'm less than an hour from Volusia at this point. I'm checking my race pass, and I'm looking, and I'm like, huh, that's weird. And I saw Ricky Thornton on the entry list, so I was like, okay, modified race. That makes sense. I'm like, that's weird. Why is Tyler Erb running a modified? And then I'm like, why is Hudson O'Neal running a modified? And then I start seeing more and more names. I'm like, oh, these are late models. And I called you about the time. I was like,
yep.
Dude, this is like as exciting as Christmas morning when I was 12 years old. Because if you've listened to me talk about dirt racing, you know that my two favorite dirt styles of racing to watch are non-wing sprints and super late models. And I got to see them both at one of the most fun tracks in the country. I was so excited. Just an awesome night. We got there. I talked to Hudson O'Neal for a little bit. I talked to one of Ricky Thornton's crew guys and one of Bobby Pierce's crew guys for just a little bit. They were both, busy getting ready for the race. RTJ was in his bus with his family, and I was like, all right, I'm not going to sit around and wait on him. Enjoy your family time before your race. Talked to Hudson, talked to Brandon Overton. Brandon Overton's super cool, by the way. You
that's my guy.
Picking him as your favorite driver just on a whim. Super awesome guy. He's going to be running Lucas Oil again this year. I think last year might have been his first year on the Lucas Tour. Don't hold me to that 100%. So we know that he's going to be on the Lucas Oil Tour. Another big news out of the dirt super late model world, Jonathan Davenport is off of either tour for the first time in a long time this year. He is racing when he wants.
It's weird.
And I get it. He's at a point in his career where he has nothing left to prove.
I
mean, he's won everything. He's won everything you can win. And he's going to race when he wants. He's going to get his big paychecks because even if he's not racing 50 or 60 times a year, he's still going to win the big money races he shows up at. I have no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think he's the number one dirt late model driver. You can have an argument that's Bobby Pierce or RTJ, but I still think it's JD. There's something about his level of racecraft that is just elevated.
Mm-hmm.
But back to Volusia. So this is funny. My dog Prescott, I brought him with me all race weekend. He does not like loud noise. He's scared of loud noises. I bring him to a racetrack. And he was a little jumpy, during the pits, but he was fine. And he was fine during qualifying and hot laps. So we have him sitting with us. First USAC heat race, cars do their drive-by. He gets kind of freaked out, so we let him go lay down in the back seat of the truck, take a nap, during the race. But he freaked out. That first, when the cars came by the first time, he jumped. In Scooby-Doo, in the theme song intro, when Scooby-Doo jumps up and lands in Shaggy's hands?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he did. He did that into my chair pretty much. He was sitting beside me, and then all of a sudden he was all the way in my chair on me. And I'm like, oh, hey, buddy.
Oh my goodness.
But the USAC race was awesome.
Yeah, I thought so
You
too.
got to watch it too on Flow. Logan Seavey and Brady Bacon put on a show.
Oh yeah.
And this is another funny thing from that. So, USAC's qualifying format is the most convoluted, frustrating thing to follow in all the dirt racing. I don't know if you know I don't even know if I know the exact format, but from what I gather, you qualify, and the top 6 get inverted, and if they all lock in their heat race, they're locked in 1 through 6, inverted of qualifying. Heat race winners then line up 7th, 8th, 9th. Then everybody else that transferred from the heat races line up in their qualifying order, not their finishing order. So it's an inverted top 6, then the heat race winners, and then everyone else. So my mom looks at me after the heat races. They're lined up, getting ready to go for the feature. And Mom goes, he didn't qualify on the pole, and he didn't win his heat race. Why is he starting in first? And I had to attempt to explain it to her while there's cars on the track pacing in a short enough time of 3 pace laps.
Oh my.
And so I'm trying to sit here and explain this to my parents. They're just looking at me like I have no idea what I'm talking about because it sounds so ridiculous. But no, let me see you put on an awesome show in the USAC race. Him and Brady Bacon, back and forth, back and forth. And you probably got a better view of it on TV than I did in person because it's so dusty. And here's something you don't know about non-wing sprint cars. You would think, okay, it's probably as easy to follow as a late model race or an asphalt short track race. Like, you would think that as far as keeping up with who's who, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the numbers are on the tail tanks, okay? And it gets really dusty. And they don't have these huge billboards on the side of their car like a wing sprint. You get into lap traffic, you have no idea where anyone's at. I'm having to look at the screen, then look into turn 3 and 4. I can't really see the back. I can see all the front stretch, all the corners. I can't see the back stretch where I'm sitting. And so I'm having to find where Logan Seavey and Brady Bacon are, and I just get lost because it goes caution free.
Mm-hmm.
And so by lap 10 to 15, when they're in lap traffic, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I lost track of the cars up front so many times, but man, it was such a good show. You had Justin Grant get up there to the 2 of them a few times, kind of try to get a win, but he couldn't do it. But that last 2 laps, I think the last 3 laps, they traded the lead 3 times. Logan Seavey got the win. Probably my favorite non-wing guy.
Had a hard year last year. Maybe this is off to the right start.
Yeah, I mean, he went from winning over 20 races a year in 23 and 24 to winning 5 in 2025. So he's already off to a good start. He's got a win already. That was such a fun race. Such a fun time there at Volusia.
Yeah.
We need to get to a dirt race.
Hey, I was going to say, I should be going to the one in Columbus here in a couple weeks.
I was about to say, that's
3 weeks
March
from
7th.
now.
Yeah, is that the same week as the Martinsville race, though? Because I'm going to the Martinsville race for work.
Not sure.
If it's not,
we'll have to look.
I'll try to come down. Yeah, I want to come to that one.
But I should be going to another dirt race this year, 3 weeks from now. So we'll have another episode by then. Gavin, you got anything else?
Yeah. Keep watching races, everybody.
That's absolutely right. I'm glad we covered all this stuff. This is fun.
Episode.
Hey, and it's going to be a banger. We always do. It's always fun.
I was told that we were going to have a guest next week by someone. Still trying to get the exact schedule worked out, so not going to confirm that we have a guest yet, but hopefully we have a guest on our next episode, and hopefully it's a pretty big, probably our second, maybe third biggest guest up till this point.
Hey, we'll keep you updated. Again, if you want to do anything with sponsorship, we would love some sponsorship. Been a year now. We're trying to continue to grow and move forward. It is the B-Main Podcast 2024 at gmail.com. I didn't know if you were going to say something.
All of those. No, sorry. Your audio, I think, was being a little glitchy there at the end.
Oops.
I was going to say we'll just leave all of our other socials and contacts in the description of the YouTube video. So you'll be able to contact us, get a hold of us any way you can.
Sweet. All right. Thank y'all for watching episode number 28.
See you in 2 weeks.
See you next time.